and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Welcome to the regular school committee meeting for the Attleboro School Committee of Monday, October 2nd. Chairman Withers is stuck in traffic on his way here, so we're going to go ahead and get started without him. To start, we have the introduction of our new Student Advisory Council members. So for that, I'll call up Attleboro High School Principal Kate Campbell.
Mr. Vice Chairman, you can let people know this is being electronically
Oh, thank you.
recorded.
Sorry. This is your notice that that this meeting is being electronically recorded.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Geddes. Good evening, everyone. And I'm very excited to introduce Austin Bowie. He is a leader here at our school in many aspects of our day-to-day school community, and his student voice, his level-headedness, his ability to see things from an outer lens as well as one-on-one. I think that his insight and collaboration will bring a lot to the committee this year. So I'm really looking forward to him being part of this team. And I also know that he's excited to learn from who he's able to be a part of. So welcome, Austin.
Thank you.
Welcome, Austin. Do you want to tell us a little bit more about yourself?
I'm the captain of the cross-country team. This is my second year being captain. I've run all 3 seasons, all 3 years I've been here. I am National Tech President. I'm in Carpentry 3, so that's my program for that, which I love doing that. I'm looking towards going to college next year. I'm not exactly sure what I'd like to study, but that's just my general outlook, hopefully somewhere in New England. I'd like to look at Vermont. Personal things, not really too much. I have 2 dogs. I like to run, like I said. I like fall, and I'm really excited to be here.
Excellent. Well, welcome.
Thank you.
And we'll look forward to hearing more from you throughout the year with various updates across the district. And we have 2 more students that will be joining us.
Yes, Zuri and Carla, and we have a schedule of when they'll all be coming. So we'll have 1 to 2 students every week. We had a junior join us, so we'll be able to bring someone up next year, but we really want to be able to bring student voice to the committee and also bring back information from the committee.
Perfect. Thank you, Mrs. Campbell.
Thank you.
Next on the agenda is the superintendent's report. Mr. Sawyer.
Thank you. As the committee is already aware, I just want to make sure that the public knows that we did have the principal at Brennan, Mr. Buchanan, resign unexpectedly due to health concerns. We certainly are concerned for his well-being and wish him well in his recovery. We're very lucky that our assistant principal at Brennan, Ms. Julia Boyle, has agreed to step up as acting principal. Today was her first day in that official capacity. And she's going to help us to hold down the fort until we can do a full public search for a principal in the spring at the time that people are looking for those jobs. You know, as I said to the staff when we met with them, you know, Brennan, we're looking for, you know, the person to lead that building for the next 10 years. And we feel like that's the appropriate moment to do that kind of a search. And I believe the staff agreed with that thinking and that timing. And so as we get through the holiday season, we'll start to put those plans together. Hopefully we'll be able to have a school committee member join that committee, and we'll certainly be looking for a parent from the Brennan community to join a couple staff members to do that important work. So that's how we will handle that, and in the meantime, we're putting a lot of district support in place to help Ms. Boyle so that we can make sure that this is not a lost year at Brennan, that everything goes smoothly, and that, you know, we'll look back and say that this was a transition that set us up for some real success in the future. On a related note, she's been welcomed to the position because Brennan had a little bit of a concern over the weekend. There was a concern about a threat. And it just is an opportunity for me to remind the community how we feel about these things, which unfortunately are part of life these days in public education. First of all, we take all threats very seriously. We don't ever dismiss something as, oh, you know, just this or just that. We thoroughly investigate anytime we receive a report about a threat, and we always involve the police to make sure that we get expert confirmation of our assessment of what is or is not necessarily a dangerous situation. families should also know that when students are directly involved in a situation like that, you will hear from the school about your child's involvement. So if your child was part of the conversation or witnessed something and we're aware of that, we reach out and inform families that they were part of that and explain their participation and what we know. So if you don't hear from us and you think your child was involved, then you should definitely reach out to the school, because that is a clear sign that we're not aware of that information. It is also a sign that if your child hasn't said, if you haven't received a call from us and your child's not saying that they're part of it, then that means, if you hadn't heard from us, that you're not involved. Generally speaking, to try to prevent things from becoming a situation of a panic, we really try to keep the information to the people who need to know, and try to respect the confidentiality of other people involved. That said, sometimes word gets out, the rumor mill fires up, and then we'll do general messaging to try to set the record straight, make sure everybody knows everything that's going on. A lot of things happen in the district on a daily basis that we never do widespread messaging about, because we're able to manage it, again, among the people who are directly involved. We're never keeping secrets from people, from families, about what's going on with their children. But there are situations in which we just don't feel like it helps to rile everybody up about something that really wasn't an actual threat that they weren't involved with. Certainly when there are causes for concern or threats to safety, everyone involved will be notified. So that's how we've been handling things for quite some time now. It works well for us. It's how we keep our focus on learning and not get distracted by some of the bad choices that some of our students sometimes make. But I just thought this was another opportunity, as the start of a new school year, to remind everybody about what they can expect from the administration when these things happen.
Any questions? Hope Ms. O'Boyle's time in this position
Yes.
gets a little easier.
Yes,
from here.
welcome to being acting principal. I wanted to inform the community that we have put together some sessions for rooms help. I know some families have had some concerns about about how to use rooms and some problems that they're having. And so here at Attleboro High School in the College and Career Center, the high school is kind enough to provide us some space. We're going to have 3 different sessions. The first is tomorrow, Tuesday, October 3rd at 7 in the evening. And then we have 2 more planned for Thursday, the 5th at 9 a.m. and Thursday, the 12th at 1 p.m. There's a flyer that's out on the news feed in all of our schools, so if you're looking for that information, you can find it in the APS app. But I just wanted to let everybody know that there'll be an opportunity to come in and speak with staff and get one-on-one help for rooms for anyone that needs that help. I wanted to tell you all that I will be traveling to Boston on Wednesday. I've been asked to provide testimony as part of the hearing for the Thrive Act. If you're not aware, the Education Committee at the State House is considering an act called the Thrive Act, which has 3 provisions. The first is that they want to eliminate the graduation, MCAS as a graduation requirement. They want to end the practice of receivership for schools that are found to not be making appropriate success towards their gains. And it's the formation of a commission to start talking about changes to how we do the accountability system here in Massachusetts. So again, I'm traveling up for Wednesday. There's a hearing at 2 o'clock on the 4th that I will be participating in. And while the first 2 provisions, the graduation requirement and the receivership, to be quite honest, aren't issues that particularly affect Attleboro. Attleboro is not in danger of being taken over by the state, nor do we have any significant number of kids who fail to graduate because of MCAS. In fact, we recently received a request on exactly how many we're talking about. So we're going to calculate that number. We haven't done that in a while. But I'm here to tell you it's a very, very small number of students who are affected by that. So that's not really, those 2 parts of the Thrive Act aren't really what drive us to be interested in this. But we've been saying for some time that the accountability system in Massachusetts, I don't think is our best work as a state, and I don't think it benefits a place like Attleboro. I think largely our accountability system is really just an assessment of the level of poverty in a community. In fact, if you correlate between poverty rates and accountability in Massachusetts, it's almost a one-to-one. So wealthier communities have better educational results, and poorer communities have lesser results. So I think we can, as a state, do a better job, and I'm open to the idea of the state really taking a hard look at this and thinking about maybe a better way to accomplish accountability, because certainly we're not against accountability. I think as a public institution, schools need to openly serve their communities, and the communities need to have faith in what we do, and the only way we accomplish that is through transparency and through feedback from the community on the job that we're doing. And so we care very deeply about all of that and are not against that in any way. But judging schools based on their MCAS scores is a questionable practice, and we've known for some time that perhaps there's a better way. So if the Thrive Act helps us to get to that place faster, I'm all for it, and we'll be saying as much to our legislators on Wednesday.
Is there an anticipated timeline as to, from when the commission starts to when any potential changes might be implemented?
As far as I can tell, there's no sort of indication of that. It's just sort of a starting place to just get the conversation started. Yeah.
Any other questions?
As I believe I discussed at our last meeting, last spring, we talked about the need to develop some policy around cell phones. And I had discussed that we were going to work on that on a couple different fronts. And so I just wanted to let everyone know that we have picked a date. It'll be October 24th. Haven't quite picked the time yet, but on October 24th here at the high school in the Bray Auditorium, we will run a family forum. There'll be a short presentation that it summarizes what we said back in May. I will also provide a little bit of an indication of where we think we're headed since we've had that presentation, and then we'll give people who participate, who come from the community, to certainly provide us feedback for us to hear, and also we'll try to answer any questions people about how this might look or play for life in the schools. We'll have a little bit of a panel. So that's an event that we have determined the date for October 24th, and we'll be doing promotions and put some stuff out in the app and send home to families trying to promote people to come and participate, so that we can make sure that everyone gets a chance to air their concerns about how we're going to handle cell phones moving forward. All right. And then my final update for you this evening, since we last met, the State Board of Education on September 19th approved a new comprehensive health and physical education framework for the state of Massachusetts. This is the first revision to that framework since 1999. Just to remind everybody, frameworks are a set of standards. They set the standards for the state that all students in Massachusetts are supposed to meet, but it's our responsibility as a district to develop our own curricula to meet those standards. And so we have a great deal of freedom about how we think it's best to help our students to meet those standards. And we will be exercising our authority in that matter in time. But this was just released recently, and quite honestly, our professional development planning takes place a year ahead of time. So it's going to take us we won't really get to this as an item until next year in earnest. We'll certainly take a look at it before then, but in this moment, we haven't even had a chance to review the new frameworks. So there'll be no changes made in the immediate future. I know that we've received some inquiries about it. I know some families are concerned about what the changes mean, and I would say that in this moment, no changes are planned. our team of educators will go through a full process where we look at it and think about revisions that we need to make. We'll talk about any materials that need to be purchased. All those kinds of things will be done the way we do any curriculum. And then certainly because of the parental opt-out under the law that's allowed for sex education here in Massachusetts, there will be an opportunity for parental input in whatever we propose for how to handle the changes based on those frameworks. So that'll be part of this process, and we'll keep the committee informed about such proceedings. But it's not anything that's going to happen soon, and in the meantime, we're going to continue to do what we've been doing since 1999.
Any questions? Excellent. One unrelated question before you conclude your report. I know there were a lot of concerns with the significant rainstorm we had a little over a month ago. And at school building committee, we were reassured that the leaks that were in the paper were not significant, and there were some traffic concerns addressed at the school building committee meeting as well. I didn't know if you had any updates on both of those or either of those items.
I haven't heard anything. I'll ask Mr. Furtado in a second if he knows something more than I do, but I do think it's a very good point. The community, if they didn't catch the always scintillating SBC meeting, they might not be aware that it literally was a pinhole in the sealant that caused these leaks, which were not major leaks. And that, the rain we received on that occasion was a 100-year rainstorm. And so from my perspective, it's great that that happened in this moment because, we found something that we were not likely to find under most circumstances, and that gave us an opportunity to address it. The roof held up well otherwise and is in good shape, and that the roofing material, the membrane itself is not a problem. We're talking about penetrations through the roof for things like vents and other structures that need a sealant around them. And I had no idea, but literally a pinhole in the sealant can cause a leak when you have that kind of, hydraulic pressure from all that water. So learning experience. The other good news on the roof is it has a 30-year warranty. So these are all factors that I think the public should be reassured that we're in good shape, and we expect that the next rainstorm will not cause us a problem. Mr. Furtado, was there anything else you wanted to add to that?
No, that was dead on.
Well done. Mr. Scores?
Thank you. Again, something unrelated, but I know that some members, myself included, received some feedback from some concerned parents regarding lunches, especially at the high school. Knowing with the free lunch for everybody and the scheduling and all that other stuff, there seemed to be some concern that there's not enough time, the lines are too long, things of that nature. Can you speak to any of that? Has anything changed in that regard? So any improvements, that'd be good to hear.
I'll ask Ms. Campbell to speak to this
I'm
too.
looking over your shoulder too.
But I will say that when that came up, we looked into it, and the information I received was that wait times at the high school were like 7 minutes, which to my feeling is perfectly appropriate. We didn't necessarily get that in the old school, so I'll let Ms. Campbell take it from here.
Thank you, Jim. Chris had reached out to me with a similar question, so I'm hopeful that you were all able to read my response from there. So last year, we definitely had some growing pains coming into the building, the new setup, the servery, with the design. We knew coming in from last year, and we've learned a lot. So actually, the lunches have been running smoothly. We do have a big school. We're at 1950, students. We have 3 lunches. There are empty seats at all of our lunches. Some students choose to sit on the stairs, which is great. That's their meeting point with their friends. Some people like it a little bit quieter. And then there are students that, choose all of the other seats. Some kids like to sit on the tall table. Some people are down by the windows. We also have our guidance suite that's open if you really like an even quieter lunch. The lunch lines are averaging 7 minutes. We did do timing again. I do believe for new families coming in and for new students coming up from the middle school, we're a big school, and lunches probably look far more crowded than they did in their middle school. But we have not had delays anywhere even close to where we were last year. And on the opposite side, kids are trying to eat and get going. So I do think that there is, as there always is, some growing pains for new students coming in, but we have not had the concerns that were mentioned. As I've said to all the school committee members, please send a family my way if they'd like to meet and talk more, and I can explain. I know sometimes when you come home and someone might say, oh, I didn't get what I wanted, sometimes students may be standing in the servery for more than 7 minutes, but that doesn't mean that there's a line in front of them. It means we can't decide what we want.
Fair enough. Thank
Austin,
you.
you're in lunch
I
every
was gonna
day.
say, I can add on to it. I mean, it does get very, very hectic, and that isn't solely for the fact of, oh, I'm going to shove this person out of line. The way that I see it is you have, a set few options of where you can get this, where you can get this, and it is, a kind of crammed area compared
you
to
learn, yeah.
the old high school because, it's not 3 floors anymore. It's one room. Although it's 4 cash registers in one area, it's still one room where you're trying to fit a lot of people. And the way that I see it is, it's not they don't know etiquette, but the incoming freshmen, the incoming, any transfer students, it's like you see them in the hallways, they're walking slowly, they're looking around, they're checking their schedule, and there's no problem with that. It's just they're very new to this place. So when it comes to a super hectic, everybody's moving around situation like the cafeteria, it does kind of, people just blank short circuit and they're just standing there like they're like, I want a hamburger, do I want this? Although I do think that the wrap lines are very, very long, which is, I wouldn't say it's an issue, but it's difficult because it's okay, let's say I didn't bring, lunch from home, I didn't have time to cook it, or I didn't have it, and I wanted this healthier option, I'm gonna lose out on eating time because it's faster to grab, like a processed chicken patty or something. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but that's really the only issue where it's like you're gonna be waiting in line for a while.
Right.
So my opinion on it is, it's like it isn't as bad as last year. It's a rush, but if you get us organized, humans are organized creatures, they'll find a way to get around. So I don't really see an issue with it besides, like I said, the wrap line. But we've been moving from 2 people to 3 people as of recently, which was great.
Yep,
That was
we
an
are.
amazing improvement because I choose a wrap any day over that. I mean, get it toasted, whatever meat you want, it's great. So I mean, firsthand, I don't mind. I survive every day, so everybody else will, I think.
It is an adjustment, but we are going through, and we have left that bumper of time in between lunches for that reason in case we needed it, but we haven't needed it.
Okay, and I'll say that people reached out to us towards the beginning of the school year, and we really haven't
Sure.
heard anything in the last couple of weeks, so I was guessing something has improved in that area, whether it's just familiarity of the situation or some other little things here and there, so, thank you.
No problem.
Appreciate it.
And just to clarify, when we say it's 7 minutes, it's not that everyone has to wait 7 minutes. It's that at the 7-minute point, no one is, not that everyone's been served, but no one's waiting for to go to the cash register by that time. Which means that, of however many of the 600 kids that bought lunch, they've already been processed within that 7 minutes. So, that's pretty impressive from where I sit.
Thank you.
And the wraps are delicious.
Austin bringing the fire in his first meeting.
I'm excited to be here. I've been waiting for this since last year. I'm ready, hopefully.
Anything else, Superintendent?
That concludes my report.
Thank you. And with that, I will yield chair back to Mr. Withers.
Thank you, Mr. Geddes. Apologies for being tardy tonight. Next on the agenda, we have minutes from our September 11th, 2023 meeting. The minutes were circulated with your materials. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second?
Any questions or edits? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Consent agenda, 11 items tonight. Motion to accept a payment in the amount of $29.40 from Bay State Textiles to the Hill Roberts. Motion to accept a payment in the amount of $79 from Planet Aid to Hill Roberts. Motion to accept a donation in the amount of $150 from the Wade Institute for Science Education to the Quillo Middle School for educational purposes. Motion to accept a donation in the amount of $1,000 from the Attleboro Elks, number 1014, to the Attleboro High School Athletic Department gifts donation line to be used to assist less fortunate families in need with athletic user fees. Motion to accept a donation in the amount of $1,000 from the Attleboro Elks, number 1014, to the Attleboro High School Athletic Department gifts donation line to assist with the cost of less fortunate families for participation in the Unified Basketball Program. Motion to accept a donation of 121 backpacks with school supplies for an estimated value of $2,611.46 from Sodexo at school. Motion to accept the donation of 34 backpacks with school supplies for an estimated value of $1,067 from the Gregory the Theologian Greek Orthodox Church in Mansfield, Massachusetts. Motion to accept the donation of dictionaries to all students in the 3rd grade on behalf of the Attleboro Elks Lodge, number 1014, and the Dictionary Project. The value of the dictionaries is $1,056. Motion to accept 2 Mightier kits along with a 12-month subscription to the Mightier program to support students at the Peter Thatcher Elementary School valued at $336 each for a total donation of $672 from Mightier of Boston as described in the donation letter from Mightier. Motion to accept the Rizzo Model RZ220 copier located at Willett Elementary School as surplus as it has no salvageable value. And a motion to forward to the municipal council for approval prior year invoices in the amount of $759.74 as broken down in the memorandum dated September 26th, 2023.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions, comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Consent agenda passes. We'll move on to our subcommittee meeting reports tonight. And for that, we have policy and personnel. Mr. Storrs?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The committee, the subcommittee, Policy and Personnel, met on September 18th, and the following motions were all brought out unanimously, so I'll be putting those right up for discussion. First one was a motion to approve the edits to the dress code section of the student handbooks. Notices and communication will go out to parents and students. This is just additional guidance regarding certain headgear, as well as the recently added legal language regarding hair texture, length, and styles. So that's all that's being added for this. So we have, again, it came out unanimously, so I'll put that on the floor. So we have a motion to approve the edit to the dress code sections as provided to the members. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
All right, unanimous. Any opposed? Nope. Good. Next, so MASC has been going through their policy binder, and they have come up with a group of policies that they feel are no longer necessary to be maintained within the policy binders. So the following policies are recommended by MASC, and the subcommittee agreed that we should remove these for various reasons I'll explain in a moment. Policy Exhibit BEDB-E1, the agenda format. Policy BK, school committee memberships. Policy Exhibit CHCA-E1, approval of handbooks and directives. Policy CL, administrative reports. Policy GA, personnel goals. Policy GCQD, resignation of staff members. Policy GCQE, retirement of staff. And Policy GDQD, suspension and dismissal of support staff members. So I'm going to put that out for discussion, just to explain each. So like the last three, those were all contractual, so there's really no need to have policy surrounding it. Same with personnel goals. Administrative reports is just something that we do. It's part of our process. Same with the approval of the handbooks each year. It's part of what we do. School committee memberships, similarly, and the agenda format is something that we have the ability to do what we need to have the agenda, so there's no need to have an exhibit for that. So I'll put all those, unless somebody wants me to take up any one of these separately, I'll put these all up for discussion. Yes, sir.
Are these policies and exhibits that MASC never had, or that they did have and are getting rid of?
Yeah, they did have them, and so did we, and they're getting rid of them, so we're looking to get rid of them.
Understood, thanks.
Okay. So the motion is to remove all the 8 policies and/or exhibits as mentioned. Yep, please.
Sorry, can we even, I don't want to necessarily treat it separately, but the agenda format one, I know Mass doesn't have it, but if we don't have a policy about the agenda, what's the guiding principle for going forward? Because it is public record that we put this out and people are used to seeing it a certain way.
So the agenda format is really about, like, if you look at the agenda right now, what's on it, the notice of electronic recording, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. That's something that we kind of work out with with our secretary, the chair people of the various committees, as well as Mr. Withers. So the same things are required, certain things like the notice of electronic recording, the Pledge of Allegiance, things of that nature is standard. As far as the order we do things, it's pretty, we have the ability to do what we want.
So maybe not a policy, but we're moving into like a handbook that says, here's how you do it. Say we all forget how to do it, and it's silly.
Yeah.
But like, is
Well-
that going to be documented somewhere else?
I mean, we do have tens of thousands of past agendas available to us if there was ever an issue. Yeah, I mean, we talked about it at the subcommittee. We agree that we don't feel that there's need to maintain a exhibit of a general agenda format. There's plenty online, there's plenty that we've used in the past, and, we work with the administrative members to set that.
Okay.
All right, any other discussion? All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Next, we looked at policy BDC, appointed committee officials, and policy BDFB, the CTEAC, Career Technical Education. And although Mass doesn't have these two policies, these are specific to what we do here, and we feel they're good as is, so we're looking just to note the review date as they stand. All right, so I'll put a motion to note the review date for policy BDC, appointed committee officials, and policy BDFB, CTEAC. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right, unanimous. We had two job descriptions brought to us. The first one was, we have a motion to approve the job description as presented for the Cooperative Education Coordinator. So I will let the administration just generally give us a summary of this position, please. Whether that's Lori or Julie. I'll let you guys fight over it.
It was a great problem to have last year when we realized, and I think Mr. Gay would say the same, that over the past series of years is how the CTE here at Attleboro High School has grown. The coordinator position now is really being that link for our students for where they can be in their fields for work to be done their senior year. So it really is a focus of, and almost all CTE programs have that as a full-time position. We're starting with a part-time, but really being able to set up the students with work outside of their program and creating those pipelines. So.
And just, I know we spoke to it at the subcommittee, but can you speak, because it's obviously not the entire school day. You know, it's either partial day or weekends or summer.
Right.
Is that a good summary of
Yes,
the timeline?
there are not just career fairs, but different opportunities on the weekends when businesses may be more available to be meeting and discussing those things. So it is a little bit of a different schedule.
Right. Thank you.
Sure.
Okay, so we have the motion to approve the job description for the Cooperative Education Coordinator as presented. Is there any questions or discussion? Please.
One,
Yep.
I know for the other one we're going to talk about in a minute, we have someone. Do we have a co-op coordinator currently that is going to do this, or is this to open a new role to hire for one?
So we do have someone who's in, Kristen Marshall
Excellent.
has been there. She worked for us last year, but it really has been great. She knows exploratory, she knows CTE, she knows Attleboro High School, and she knows the community.
Excellent. That's all.
Great, appreciate it. And I think it's good to note that we do have some jobs of this nature where we're just getting around now, now that the position's in place, to be able to define it properly. So that's why these job descriptions have been coming up for the last couple of meetings. All right. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right. Motion passes unanimous. And the last one, we have a motion to approve the job description for the much-needed, not anytime soon, I sure hope, Assistant Director of Finance and Operations. So, you know, Mark does a lot. I think this position is needed. Is that a fair statement, Mr. Furtado?
I would agree with that statement.
Right. So we know how much Mark does, and also, you know, I think we got to look to the future. Hopefully that future is far, far, far away, but I think having somebody in a position of this nature makes a lot of sense. That's kind of the discussion that the subcommittee had. So I guess the way to look at this position is working for Mark. They'll have certain responsibilities. Certain people will not necessarily report directly through them, but I mean, they will be reporting to them, but not as far as reviews and stuff. That's going to be Mark himself, right? Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to put that motion up for discussion. Is there any discussion or questions regarding the job description for the Assistant Director of Finance and Operations? Okay, seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, unanimously approved. And that, Mr. Chairman, concludes my report.
Next, we have open forum. Open forum is when members of the public can come forward and address the committee. Each member of the public will have 3 minutes to address the committee on issues of their concern. If there's anyone who would like to come forward, please step forward to the podium and state your name and what you'd like to talk about. All right, then I am going to close open forum. All right. New business tonight, just one item from me. I've been in touch with Council President Delicio, and we're going to be getting together in the next couple of weeks to discuss a joint meeting of the City Council and the School Committee for December. Spoken with the superintendent about it as well. It'll probably be, most likely be our initial budget presentation to kind of let them see how the budget process starts, so they understand what we deal with here, and the idea, the hope of going forward, that the two committees can meet together and work collaboratively, as the city and school department have been, in the One City, One Budget program. So hoping to get everyone on the same page with the same information. So more details to come on that, but our December meeting will likely be a joint meeting with the city council. Any other new business? Mr. Frappier?
The existing December meeting or a new one on top of that?
To be determined.
To be
I mean, a lot of that will probably depend on how, what we have for business. If we have a significant amount of business that we need to talk about, then we'll probably have a separate meeting. But if it's quiet at that time, we might be able to just have a regular meeting at that time. So,
Thank you.
good question. Anyone else? All right, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.